Hi, this is Jake with the services team at Integrify, and today we're going to be walking through building a process in Integrify in just 5 minutes. So with a product like Integrify, or really any custom workflow automation tool, there are a lot of features that come out of the box that are really exciting to our customers, but it can be very daunting to know where to start. What we wanted to do today is kind of show you how we can build a process very quickly in our system and use a lot of the features right out of the box. And so we're going to show you how easy it is to really jump in here and do that work and actually build that configured workflow from the ground up. I'm going to give myself 5 minutes today. We're going to build as much of a workflow as we can. And hopefully by the end of it, we'll have a process that we can put into production and start using with our actual organization here. For today's example, we're going to be building a PTO request workflow. And so that will allow us to track any requests that are coming into our organization for time off. We can use this for both PTO and for sick time. We want it to automatically route to a manager, so that way there's no need for that employee to contact the manager directly. It will just go into the system, assigned to the manager, they can do the approval. And then once the manager approves, the system can automatically let that requester know, or their employee know, whether or not they've approved or denied that request. Again, all automated by Integrify without any intervention from the users sending custom emails to each other, getting lost in inboxes. It's all going to be tracked in the system for you automatically. So again, we're giving ourselves 5 minutes. I have a blank form, I have a blank process. Just to show you I'm not cheating, I'm going to pull it up here. So you can see here, we've got our form designer here. It's completely blank. I also have a blank process builder. I got a timer over here on the side to add extra pressure because that always makes for a fun challenge. And so we're going to go 5 minutes on the clock, build as much of this as we can, and by the end of it, we should have a workflow that we can demo to you all and show how Integrify can help automate processes very quickly for you. So we're going to count us in from 3, 2, 1, and go. Okay, so first thing, we need to know who the requester is. So we're going to add a context search for employee name. This is a built-in question type that lets us check any contacts in our system. I'm also going to drag in some formatting objects here. So I'm going to add some custom layout to make this form a little bit more organized. Set it to 2 columns. I'm going to add a radio button here for the request type, and we're going to allow them to select either PTO or sick time. So I'm going to add both of those options here. And then we're also going to add a number field. This will track the number of hours requested. So this is the amount of time that's being requested off. We need to know the range of dates that they're requesting off. So we're going to do a start date calendar question and an end date calendar question. And then finally, let's add a long text field in this last container. And this is going to be notes to manager. And just like that, we have a form built. Now let's go ahead and actually build this process and link that form. So we're in our new process designer. We're going to drag in a milestone to start, call this milestone pending PTO form submission. So this is how the system is going to initialize this workflow. We're going to connect it to that start. And then let's actually drag in a form task. And this form is just going to be our PTO request form. Again, we're going to use our drag and drop to link these. And then when we right click, we can go to configure task and set up this task. We're going to link it to the form that we built. So going into that category and save. And now we need to assign that form to someone. So let's go to recipients. And then we can use our dynamic assigners and assign it to the requester. So the person that kicks it off will get that first form. All right, so next we need to set the status after that is submitted. So now we're going to say that it's pending manager approval. And once again, we're going to drag and drop. And then let's add an approval task here. And this one will be the actual manager approval. And then drag that. We're going to right click to configure. So we need to give the manager some options here to choose. So they can either approve or they could deny. So I'll add both of those here. And then under advanced settings, we're going to allow them to add comments to that user. And we're also going to show the form that they're actually approving, so they know what they're approving. We'll save that. And then we need to assign this to someone again. So we're going to go to recipients. And again, we're going to use a dynamic assigner here. And we have a built-in functionality to use our contact table to see who's the manager of the requester. So we'll use that to automate this assignment. All right, we're going to bring in a couple milestones here. So we're going to call this one request approved. And then we're going to add another one that is request denied. We're going to connect those here. And then we're going to go in here. This is where we're going to start using some rules. So we want to route this depending on what the manager selected. So using our rules here, we can select what the manager's choice was. So in this case, if they approve, we want it to go to request approved. And then on the flip side, if they deny, we want them to route this to request denied. So we're going to say manager approval is deny and save that. Okay, and then we're going to add a general notification here at the end. We're going to link both of these together, bring them back in. When we do something like that and we merge paths, we're going to need to configure the rules to make sure that both choices are options. So you can either approve or deny. So we want that to reflect in our configuration here. Let's go ahead and assign this notification to the requester so they know what the status of their request is. And then we can go in here and actually edit that notification. Let's add some information here to the subject. So we're going to go to the request, and we're going to use the last milestone since that says the status. We're going to add this to the subject, and we're going to say PTO request update, and then that milestone. So that gives them a little more information on that notification. And then we're going to drag this to our end just to clean up. I'm going to give this notification notify requester, and just like that, I'll hit save. As you can see, we have a full workflow built from start to finish with a form that's completely customized. And let's go ahead and actually launch one of these and see what this looks like to the end user. In Integrify, we have the option from our workflow builder or a process builder to run the request and test it. So I'm going to kick this request off just to show what the different steps look like. So I'm going to go ahead and start this request. You can see we have our form here. I'm going to search for my name here. I'm going to request some time off. I'm going to request some PTO. Let's give myself a couple days off. I've been working pretty hard, so I will take off. Let's take off this Thursday and Friday. Give myself a long weekend. So I'll take these couple of days off. I'll add going on vacation. Don't call. Something like that. So this form has been completely customized. It's laid out exactly how we set it up in our form designer. I was able to leverage a bunch of different question types. I got calendar, got a number field, request type was a radio button. I set these options, a long text field, so I can add more text if I needed to. So yeah, very customizable. And we really only scratched the surface of the types of questions here, but it should give you an idea. There's a lot of options for building these forms, but let's submit this and show the next step here. So if you go to our flow view, you can see that the form was submitted. It's pending the manager approval. I can go here and actually see that it pulled my manager from that contact table. So in a real life scenario, it would be assigned to my manager, John. And then if I come here, I can come and review this form. I can see what's been submitted. I can see the amount of time they requested off. I can see what days they want off. So then as the manager, I can review this. I can approve or deny. I'm going to say that John will approve for me, and he will say, enjoy your time off. Okay, and then we'll submit this. And you could see here, this process completed on that flow view. The request was approved. It went down that path. It notified the requester. And I just received an email. This email came in from our system. The PTO request updated. I can see in that subject that the request was approved. You can customize this whole notification further as needed. So as you can see, we built a whole process from start to finish in just 5 minutes, and we covered a lot of different pieces of functionality. We covered form building, manager approval tasks, setting up notifications and customizing them, and that only scratched the surface of what's available here. But again, it can be very intimidating to get started with some of these workflow automation tools. There's a lot to unpack and a lot of things that you can do, but with Integrify, the goal is to make this as easy to jump in and get started with automating processes. And even with no coding background, no technical experience, you can get in and start streamlining your processes and automating your business today.